Hello, everybody. Welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads on and emerged victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. And whether you are dealing with health challenges, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So join us, everyone, as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. So be prepared, everyone, to be inspired and to find the strength to navigate life challenges. And I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been watching for the past 4 years. Thank you for being faithful. Thank you for sharing, listening, watching, and subscribing. And for anybody who is new today, very warm welcome to the channel. And please make sure that you share and subscribe and like. I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a Mars Venus life and relationship coach, breathwork coach, astrologer, tarot reader, past life regression practitioner, and life force compassion practitioner. And today, I am very excited to introduce you to my very special guest who has really shown a lot of resilience on her journey. Her name is Deb Krier. She is a seasoned entrepreneur, a cancer advocate, and the visionary force behind tryingnottodie.LIVE. She combines her business acumen, lived experience, and certification as an integrative cancer coach to support high-performing professionals through one of life's most disruptive challenges. Deb is also the host of a podcast called The Business Power Hour. Very warm welcome, Deb, to Amazing You, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Thanacoody. It is such a delight to be here. You are an incredible person, and I love what you're doing with your podcast. So thank you so much for the honor.
Thank you so much, Deb, and please call me just Rani for today.
All right.
And your story is such an incredible, powerful story, Deb. From communications to being an entrepreneur and now being an integrative cancer coach. Would you please share with us briefly your story?
Well, again, thank you so much. My career path was in marketing and public relations and communications, as you said. And along the way, I worked for an oncologist, and I also worked for the American Cancer Society. So when I was initially diagnosed, I told people, I said, I know just enough about this to be dangerous. And so a little over 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 0 breast cancer, which is, easy peasy. Let's not really worry about it too much. So I didn't even get an oncologist. I did have a surgeon, and she did a couple biopsies. Those came back negative. And then she did a more extensive type of biopsy, and we actually removed some lymph nodes. And surprisingly, 8 of 12 lymph nodes were positive for cancer. So I went from stage 0 to stage 3, just poof, right? And then I had to get an oncologist. And so I had always, partially based on my background, my age, things like that, I was going to do the traditional approach to cancer, the Western medicine. So chemotherapy, then surgery, then radiation. So did my first round of chemotherapy, and it was a massive round. It was 8 different drugs, because we were really trying to knock this out. And it almost killed me. I ended up in the hospital for 7 weeks, multiple surgeries, multiple trips in and out of ICU, all sorts of things. I laugh and tell people now, yeah, my scars have scars. But got out. But we no more chemo. That was can't do that again. And so then I had surgery, and I had opted for a double mastectomy without reconstructive surgery. All of this is a total personal choice. You have to do what you feel works best for you. And so that's part of why I didn't do reconstructive surgery. I'm like, I'm old. Who needs those? And so, but I did get a complication from that the surgeon had never seen. And then sailed through radiation, had absolutely no problems with it, which, considering my complexion, they were really kind of surprised at. If somebody is just listening, I'm a redheaded, freckly kid, and radiation tends to cause some burning. And you wouldn't have known I'd had radiation 2 days after I finished my last treatment. So, but the entire time, as much as I could, I kept working. Partially because I wanted to have something to focus on. I didn't want to let my clients down, things like that. But, things kind of straightened up. Along the way, I've actually been diagnosed with 2 other types of cancer. I had basal cell carcinoma, which is, simple, basic skin cancer. Like I said, redheaded, freckly kid. And then I was also diagnosed with thyroid cancer several years ago, and they were all separate cancers. But it was a journey that I certainly never wanted to go on. But along the way, my business coach was the person who prodded me into starting tryingnottodie.LIVE. And she said, you didn't go through everything you went through without using it to help others. And so we started this initiative, and it is designed to help anyone who is on a cancer journey, whether they have cancer or they know someone who does. One of the most frequent questions I get is, my sister, my coworker, my friend has cancer, and I don't know what to do. And so we like to be able to support those individuals, as well as somebody who is on their cancer journey. But then, of course, my business coach didn't let up, and she kept kind of pushing me. And finally, I decided to become a cancer coach. It's a field where you don't have a lot. So I don't know if that's just not a lot of demand or fairly new. And I think it's because it is fairly new. I decided after my certification, and it was a 12-week program, so fairly detailed, that I would focus on working with, as you said in my bio, high achieving individuals. So business owners, executives, people like that, who, when they're told they have cancer, they say, no, I don't have time for that, which is what I told my doctor, and she laughed at me. And more importantly, they say, I can't tell anyone, because they'll think that the business is closing. They'll think I can't do my job. They'll, and so they don't tell anyone. But more than anything, they do need somebody to support them. And so that is what I do.
Deb, thank you for sharing your journey, because this is really a journey where you had to show a lot of resilience, where you faced cancer several times. And that takes extraordinary strength, to come back and to be back on your feet and to fight back again and not to give up.
There were times I wanted to, I'll be honest. And there are definitely times where I'm like, no, today is a sleep in day. And I have pity parties, right? Okay. We all do.
Yes.
I've had over 30 surgeries. It's, my body is certainly not the way it was 10 years ago. And so you feel bad. You have pity parties.
So but how do you pull yourself back?
First of all, you need to acknowledge that. Okay. It is normal, right? And so give yourself that grace to feel it and work through it, and then say, okay, I've been there. Now I'm ready to move on. And a lot of times what I do is I find something where I'm going to laugh, right? Because humor is one of the things that there are true physical and mental reasons why laughing and humor are very good for a body, but it's really hard to feel bad for yourself when you're laughing, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. But how do you get that? Do you bring that humor to you when you are in those moments where
Mm-hmm,
things are not that
mm-hmm,
good? How do you,
mm-hmm,
where do you find that humor to bring to
mm-hmm.
your life?
Sometimes you got to laugh at yourself.
Okay, okay.
And the situation, right? When my doctor called to tell me that I had a third cancer, she was on caller ID. Nah, doctors don't call you unless there's something really wrong. And so
Mm.
I knew. And she said, yeah, it is thyroid cancer. And I said very bad words. And she laughed and she said, that's why you're going to get through this. And and we do, it was like, really? A third cancer in 10 years? This is no. And so we find ways. I somewhere along the line gave myself a different name. One of the things that they always ask you, at least here in the States, is you go in and they say, what is your name and date of birth? And, rather than saying, now I don't do this to new people because I don't want to freak them out that they've got the wrong person, but I will tell them that my name is Anastasia Beaverhausen. I don't know where that came from,
Okay.
but I'm just Anastasia Beaverhausen. And in the infusion room, and I still go in every 21 days for treatment. And so, I was in the infusion room and was telling them I'm Anastasia Beaverhausen. And for whatever reason, they have decided that I am Princess Anastasia Beaverhausen. And, because I do love, the of the queen, and all, we must do the princess wave, right?
Mm.
And I've been known to do that in the hospital, and it's kind of like if a 3-year-old waves at you, you wave back, right?
Yeah.
And so I do the princess wave. I try and make my doctors and my medical team laugh
Oh.
because they have really hard jobs,
Mm.
and so if I can make them laugh, I figure I've done my job. One of the things, as a side effect to all of this is I've very severely damaged my kidneys, and so I see a kidney specialist every 3 months or so. And she told me, she said, I have told them that they have to schedule you as the last appointment in the day. And I
Oh.
said, oh, do I talk so much that I really screw up your schedule? And she laughed and she said, no, you make me laugh and I need you to end my day.
Wow.
And, and so how can we do that? How can we make others laugh
Mm.
when things are dire, right?
Yes.
I remember one of the times when I was going in for surgery, and I have a large support system. I've built my tribe. And I remember I was in for surgery one time and I was thinking, well, I can't die. All of those people will be really mad at me. And right, you kind of just keep laughing at the absurdity of the situation.
That is so true. I remember I had a friend a long time ago. She used to laugh at everything and she used to take life so easily, so lightly.
Mm-hmm.
And she always, and she's still here. She's still
Mm-hmm.
happy. She still looks young. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and she's still
Mm-hmm.
the person that I knew a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah. And were you always like that, Deb?
Probably, I'm
Okay.
an only child, and my mom says I just jibber jabbered all the time.
Wow.
And I make friends with trees and
Okay.
lampposts and all of these things. I can go somewhere. And my husband, who is an introvert, he will say, really, you make friends everywhere you go. Why not?
Yes.
And because it is serious. I mean,
Mm.
my actual diagnosis when they finally got done with everything is stage 4 metastatic triple positive breast cancer. That's
Mm.
horrible,
Mm.
right? But I'm like, okay, well, I've got the worst you can get, and look, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So there must be some reason for it, even if it's just to pester my doctors.
And there's a saying that said, laughter is the best medicine. And that's
Yes,
so
it
true.
is. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and there are physical reasons, right?
Mm.
It lowers your blood pressure, which you would
Yeah.
think it would do the opposite, right? There are various chemicals in your body that change when you laugh. And then of course there's the mental aspects, and then
Mhm.
spiritual and in your soul, right? When you are laughing. And excuse me. And it really is something that one of the studies that I read, fake laughter can even improve things. And so they do things like
Okay.
laughter yoga. Now, I haven't tried that. But yeah, there are, even just a fake laugh, it tricks your brain, and your brain goes, oh, okay, you're happy.
I will try that. A
Mm-hmm,
fake laugh to
mm-hmm,
myself. Yes,
mm-hmm,
thank you.
mm-hmm. Right, right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know, other than laughter, what daily practices or habits that help you to stay
Mm-hmm.
grounded and hopeful throughout uncertainty? Deb.
There is, you just don't take yourself that serious.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I really try and listen to my body.
Mm.
When it says it's tired,
Okay.
I need to stop. Or if the pain level goes up, I do have chronic pain. And so I have learned that I can either pause or I can stop. And stopping is when your body goes, nope,
Mm.
I wish I did some other things. Like, I've tried meditation. My brain just goes 900 miles an hour. You can
Mm.
probably tell, right?
Yeah.
Um, when I was initially diagnosed, and there was a lot of pain from all of those surgeries and things like that, I did hypnotherapy.
Okay.
There is a wonderful woman here in Atlanta who I went to many times, and it was, because I don't like taking pills and drugs. I mean, I
Mm.
have to take enough, but if I can avoid it, and
Yes.
using hypnotherapy for pain management was absolutely incredible.
Mm.
And so I still will do things like, if my pain or my anxiety, excuse me, anxiety level is going up, deep breathing, calming thoughts. The other day when I was in at the doctor, she took my blood pressure and she made a face. And I said, give me a minute. And I closed my eyes
Mm.
and I just thought calming thoughts, right?
Okay.
With deep breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought my blood pressure down 20 points in 5 minutes, right? And or like I went to the dentist and she's giving me those icky shots. And I just kept breathing. And she told me later, she said, you didn't even flinch. And I said, and so just things like that, where you are in charge. And I think that's the thing, is getting your arms, your brain, your mind back around. I'm not going to let this defeat me. And so but yeah, the breathing techniques, things like that, those come in so handy.
Thank you for sharing that. Indeed, breathing
Mm-hmm.
is it's our life force
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
When we breathe, it
Right.
helps to
Mm-hmm.
reduce stress,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
reduce regulate the blood pressure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
digestive
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's one
Mm-hmm.
of the first
Mm-hmm.
course that I started
Mm-hmm.
with towards my own journey
Mm-hmm.
of self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I am still doing
Mm-hmm.
breathing. I do it
Mm-hmm.
now more
Mm-hmm.
often,
Right. Mm-hmm.
3 times a day, just for two
Mm-hmm.
minutes. It just helped me to come
Mm-hmm.
back to center.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and when we get anxious, and especially when we're in pain and things like that, we hold our breath,
Yes.
right? Or we start breathing so shallow.
Yes.
And so just taking those deep cleansing breaths. And, a lot of people have to count. They breathe in for
Yes.
4. They hold it for 4.
Mm-hmm.
They exhale for 4. Because and plus thinking and doing that counting is going to help calm us also.
Yeah. That's so true. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Deb. And, for people who are listening and watching, who are going through some struggles, whether it's illness,
Mhm.
burnout, personal loss, how can they reframe their struggles into opportunities for self-discovery and growth?
Sometimes it's hard,
Mm.
and again, let yourself feel that and know that this is hard. And then realize you didn't do whatever it is. on purpose. You didn't do it to yourself. But you can control the outcome. So there are times where it's just hard. And we need to realize, I mean, like right now, everything that's going on in the world, right? And so part of it is, okay, maybe don't read all of those social media posts, turn the news off, read a book, a nice book, a fun book, go for a walk outside. One of the best things that somebody can do is fresh air and sunshine. And, it was one of those things that doctors actually told me, because, I was in the hospital for over 7 weeks, and they said, you have got to get outside. And, I used a walker. Can you imagine? I had a walker. But I couldn't go by myself because, I might go thud. And my husband was fortunate and able to leave me during the day and go back to work. And so I told people, I need people to come walk me 15 minutes. And that gave people something to focus on, but it was very good for me. Or maybe it's just, you've got a small little spot where you can get out and listen to the birds, have your glass of wine, your glass of water, whatever, and just listen to the birds. And city sounds are okay also. But just, and again, be breathing, and you might need to close your eyes. I like to go outside and close my eyes and just try and determine how many different birds I can hear, because we live next to a big wooded area, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes that's all it takes. And so, the stressed out parents, you've got a job that's not going the way you want, all of those things, 5 minutes, you can right this ship in just 5 minutes.
Thank you for sharing those. And for anyone who doesn't know what to do, you can start with those simple things in your garden,
right,
around your area. Yes, thank you so much.
Right. And I do want to encourage people that if they feel they need assistance,
yes,
whether it's, especially with mental health, things like that, please reach out. And maybe it's that you're reaching out to a spiritual person, maybe you're reaching out to somebody like Rani. It is one of the strongest things you can do to ask for help. And maybe it's not depression, maybe it's, like I said, pain, all of those things. It actually makes you stronger when you ask for help.
Yes, because in life, we get so used to doing everything by ourselves and not asking.
Right. Because, it makes us, somehow we think that it makes us less when we ask for help. And like I said, it actually makes us more.
That's so true. Yes. Thank you for emphasizing that. And you have a website called tryingnottodie.LIVE.
Correct.
It is such a great name, a bold name and statement. So what message, Deb, do you hope people to take away from your platform?
Especially if you are the person who is diagnosed with whatever it is, cancer, serious illness, you're thinking you're losing your job, all sorts of things. You are in charge, not your doctors, not your spouse, not anybody. You are in charge. And you have to make the decisions that are going to work best for you. Like I said, I chose the very traditional Western medicine approach, but I know many people who have gone the exact opposite. Or what happens now, which is even better, is we do a combination, right? But yeah, it's got to be what is going to work best for you.
That's so true. Yeah, thank you. And you also have a podcast, Deb. Would you like to tell us more about that?
Oh, I would love to. Thank you so much. I've been doing it a long time, 14 years. I think maybe we did it before you did podcasting, right?
Yes.
And so I've done, let's see, I just uploaded episode 1114. And it is called The Business Power Hour. You can find it at thebusinesspowerhour.com. And I just have fun interviewing people about business subjects. And sometimes we always have a lot of fun with it, talk about, where they came from, things like that. Fun subjects, serious subjects. I talked with one woman who started her business as a way to show the father who had sexually abused her for years that she was stronger than he was.
Mm-hmm.
And just so many great stories. And I have fun every single time I record an episode.
I love that because that gives me a great joy too. Recording the podcast with you, with guests like you, wonderful guests. It makes my day every day when I
bet.
do.
And you've had some fabulous guests.
I had some wonderful guests. Every guest is special and is unique, and each one journey is so incredible, so powerful. Yes, I have met people from all over the world in the podcast, and it's been an incredible, amazing opportunity. Yeah, yeah. And my last, sorry, go on.
Oh, that's okay. I was just gonna say I love it because people ask me, what do you get out of it? I talk to really cool people.
Yes, yes. And it's about building connections, For me, it's like getting to know people that I would not have known. It's like, wow, I've made connections with people from all over the world, and it's like now we've become friends. We understand each other, when we talk, and I am really enjoying those times with every one of my guests. Yes. And my last question to you, Deb, is your story, I'm sure, would resonate with many people who are listening and watching today. And how can the audience connect with you and learn more about tryingnottodie.LIVE or your work or work with you as a coach?
Well, again, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. The website is tryingnottodie.LIVE, and there is a link there for the advising for senior level executives. You can also Google me. I think there's 3 Deb Kriers in the whole world. I'm pretty, and just look for the one with the red hair. And so I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't really do the other social platforms because I would go down those rabbit holes and never come back out. And so I do focus predominantly on Facebook and LinkedIn. We do have a private Facebook group for tryingnottodie.LIVE. Anyone can join it. You don't have to know someone with cancer. You don't have to have cancer yourself, because it's a great place for inspiration. And we toss in a little humor every once in a while too.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Your link will appear below so the audience can connect with you. And do you have today any final message you would like to leave the audience with, Deb?
If you're diagnosed with something serious like cancer, remember it's just a very small part of who you are. It's one chapter in your book. Don't let it take over. And remember, it's just a part of who you are, and treat other people like that too, because we are so much more than just one or two things.
Deb, thank you for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your story, and for sharing your humor and your great energy on the podcast today. It's been really, really beautiful having that conversation with you and talking to you and being in your presence. It's been a great honor. Thank you so much.
And same thing. This has been a delight.
Thank you. And I would like to wish you a lot of success, Deb, in everything that you do. And I wish you great health. And I would like also to say to the audience, thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. Remember that you are amazing. You have always been amazing, and you always will be amazing. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.